Please welcome to the stage product lead at Shopify, Jamie Woolman.
Hello, welcome to Unite London. All right, today we're going to be talking about identifying opportunities for partners and developers to build apps that merchants need both globally and in Europe. A little bit of a roadmap ahead. I'm a product lead, so I have to make a roadmap joke. I'm going to start by giving a quick intro of myself. We'll talk about what merchants look for when picking apps. Then we'll talk about a category of apps that our merchants are clamoring for and we're really excited about. We'll then discuss some partner stories, how partners are solving critical problems today. Talk a little bit about how to find merchant opportunities and problems in your own communities. And then I will open the floor for some questions. Okay, this is me. I'm Jamie Woolman. I'm a product lead at Shopify. I work across our app ecosystem products and our international experiences. A couple fun facts. I am a lawyer by education, but quickly pivoted into tech. Got out of that real fast. And then I actually just became a Shopify merchant myself, selling vintage and estate jewelry online, which is a big new opportunity. You can follow me on Instagram at loopmeandjewels or check out my Shopify store, loopmeand.com. Okay, let's dive in. So 2 questions that we very frequently hear from partners are, how do merchants use apps, and how do merchants decide which apps to pick? Every day, there are new merchants starting businesses. And if those merchants are anything like the previous merchants that came before them, they will almost all use apps, built by developers like you. And in case you're wondering what we mean by almost all, did you know 3 in 4 merchants use apps today and generally have about 6 apps installed? It's a pretty crazy statistic. And the partner ecosystem, which is made up of all of you today, just keeps growing. Shopify's partner ecosystem includes developers, designers, marketers, accountants, logistics providers, and other experts, increased earnings 45% from 2020 to 2021, grossing nearly 7 times Shopify's 2021 revenue. I know we heard those numbers earlier in the keynote, but that is amazing. And there are so many merchants, and they are using so many different apps to help run their business. But how do merchants actually pick which apps to use? We did the research by constantly talking to our merchants all around the world to understand how are they making these critical decisions when picking new tools. They tell us that first and foremost, they want the tool to work and to reliably solve critical business problems. They also want the tools to be affordable and easy to use. They want them to be fast, both for themselves and for buyers. And they want it to work on mobile and on desktop, again, for themselves and for their buyers. They also care about regulation, specifically privacy and security, 2 big themes that I think we're seeing in the tech industry generally. And they want to know that they're not alone, that they can get the support they need when they need it, and that there are other merchants using the same solutions as them to feel validated and like there's a community around the products that they're about to use. And finally, we see this in our data, and our merchants tell us, they really want to know what they're getting into before they download an app through high-quality demo videos and generally stored demos. So now that we have a better understanding of what merchants care about, let's talk about a really big need for merchants globally. The really, really amazing part about Shopify's ecosystem is that your solutions can not only solve for one merchant, but can actually solve problems at scale globally all over the world. So this opportunity, which I have effectively spoiled in every single slide, is to help merchants with merchandising. So you might be wondering, what is merchandising? Merchandising is a category of apps that helps promote and sell products to potential buyers. It's everything from product variation to support for gifting. So for example, I mentioned I recently started selling vintage and estate jewelry. I could go into the App Store and download a gifting app from our merchandising category, and then I could enable it so that my buyers can come on to my product and not just buy for themselves, but they can buy for others as well, therefore opening up the addressable market and sharing my product with more people who may never have seen it to begin with. And you might be asking, well, why do we think that merchandising is such a great opportunity? Well, merchandising is one of the fastest growing categories of search traffic in the App Store. And we've seen that it's one of the categories with the fastest growing downloads and installs. But even so, there's a huge number of merchants that don't use any sort of merchandising tools today. And there are numerous apps from a diverse range of developers competing and succeeding in all different aspects of the merchandising space, but yet there's still a lot of room for new entrants. And to be clear, this is just one area that we're really excited about, but there are so many different areas across all corners of the app ecosystem for us to find different opportunities in. So what are some of the things that merchants are looking for in this space? Let me tell you about a few. So firstly, they're looking for tools to support new ways to sell, like pre-order and try before you buy. While some industries and merchants are heavily using these tools today, many others don't yet take advantage. They're also looking for pricing and discount apps. These are critical tools used by many merchants throughout their life cycle. And the Shopify platform is always evolving, and as some of you may know, there's brand new options for combinable discounts rolling out to build on. Speaking of new opportunities, I think that bundling products might just be a big area in 2023. And finally, emerging areas such as AR and VR are new areas where they're pretty untapped, they're very early in their e-commerce journey, and we haven't yet seen much adoption, but we know that once we invent it, merchants will want it. Let's talk about specific trends we see in Europe and what problems many merchants are looking to solve. First, I want to share a couple of the most popular App Store search topics for European merchants. These are SEO, dropshipping, chat support, and local delivery. All great examples of places where developers and partners can build tools that merchants already want and are looking for. But let's dive into some more examples. So here's a very specific example of how new regulation can drive the need for app development. And when that happens, quickly building solutions with a deep understanding of market impact leads to massive success. So starting in May 2022, there's a new law that was passed to increase pricing transparency and make sure that merchants were paying less when there's a discount advertised. So merchants selling in the EEA to consumers in the EEA must disclose the lowest price in the last 30 days. And this is especially more concerning for large merchants who may be under more scrutiny or potential risk of penalty. Doing this properly requires the historical capture of the price, both from the past 30 days as well as up to that new discount rate shown. And so it's a really complicated thing and something that our merchants don't really know how to solve for. But it's a great opportunity for our European developer community to help solve this problem, given their deep familiarity with this new regulation. Looking at a few opportunities that developers identified and have actually solved for already. So regulatory environments vary across European markets and drive distinct requirements for merchants. This is especially true of back office management, and developers based in these markets have a head start, because not only are they potentially impacted by the pain points associated with these, they have a really deep understanding of what the regulation actually requires. So a great example of a partner helping to meet this need is Account One. Account One focused on building solutions for e-com accounting in Europe and built a Shopify app to automate data preparation and VAT rate validation required for accounts. This massively reduced the manual effort of time required by merchants and is a superb example of how Shopify's ecosystem solved mission-critical business needs by reducing cost, delivering peace of mind, and reducing human errors. In general, we see that critical workflow automation is a key area where app development can drive real efficiencies for merchants in Europe. So in Germany, merchants need to export orders to calculate VAT payable in the DATEV format, which is the nationally accepted format to finalize and prepare tax reports. Pathway Solutions, another one of our partners, introduced an automated solution to export Shopify orders with payments, saving merchants thousands of manual hours over years. And even more importantly, they gave merchants the ability to share order and payment data to tax consultants and accountants in a ready-made and compliant form to finalize VAT payable and company accounts. This solved so many different merchant problems, and we're really excited to have this live. And finally, let's talk about one more opportunity. And this is a Shopify-wide opportunity, not limited to Europe. But frequently we see developers want to solve one merchant's problems. But oftentimes that one merchant has the same problem as many other merchants. And so that single opportunity is actually the seed of development for solving problems at scale. Crisp is a Shopify Plus service partner in Spain, providing full-stack e-commerce services that also include custom app development, process optimization, and ongoing support. Working with the Shopify Plus merchant in Spain that operates jewelry design and product business, Crisp developed a custom picking app list, which basically localized all jewelry articles and created the optimal path for fulfillment. So the idea of the app is that for small and medium-sized stores who keep their own inventory in their office or in small warehouses, they can save time and reduce the number of back-and-forth trips when trying to pack their packages. So this not only split the process of order packing between multiple people, but it decreased single order processing time, and by doing that, reduced the risk of human error. So in tackling a super specific merchant problem, Crisp succeeded in opening up an opportunity to solve for many merchants, and scale by building a public app that is planning to be listed at the end of 2022 in the App Store. So we talked a lot about apps. Most of the topic is about apps, but I would be remiss not to mention a few key areas that themes can help solve. So these generally fall into the regulation or pricing transparency field. Starting with unit pricing, I think we see that there's a number of merchants that are looking to incorporate unit pricing, meaning the ability to show ounces. I want to buy cheese or meat online. How do I know the weight or the grams in it? Taxes and shipping, these are unique policies that every single merchant has, so being able to display these in a more visible manner is a huge area of opportunity. We also see price total coming up a lot as a merchant pain point. So instead of just showing this is the price of my product, merchants actually want to be able to show this is the total price inclusive of VAT and shipping cost as a side-by-side comparison, again, to better understand what they're actually going to pay at the end of the day. Another area kind of in compliance related to GDPR is around more prominent terms for marketing. So email marketing opt-ins, being able to understand like what are you actually opting into. And then finally, breakdowns of line items. So being able to understand everything that's going into what you're being charged. Another one of our partners, Clean Canvas Theme Store Partners, have integrated some settings and elements into their themes through research and responses to Eurozone-based merchant support requests. So they did 3 things, kind of along these lines. Firstly, they added tax and shipping policy links in their cart and product cards, which is critical for German compliance. They also added separate optional terms and conditions links in the card, again, critical for European compliance. And finally, any email sign-up point is now combined with rich texts to incorporate hyperlinks to the individual policies, which has been really helpful and, again, a big pain point that merchants were looking to solve. So this, I think, is a great example of how being in market provides a leg up to developers familiar with the policy landscape to identify and find really creative solutions. Okay, let's wrap up with a few final notes on how to find opportunities in your community. So as a product manager, one of the most important things for me to understand is the problems that my customers are facing. And as developers, you're in the same boat. We not only want to understand the problems so that we can build customer empathy, but we want to understand the problems so that we can understand how to scale the solutions. So a few ways to find new opportunities are: talk to merchants in your community. It seems kind of obvious, I know, and to be honest, I'm a little bit at fault for not talking to more merchants in my community, but if I did, I would understand some of the critical pain points that they're dealing with and really get creative with how to solve it. Because as you talk to one, you start to identify themes and trends that are cut across all of them, potentially leading to an opportunity to build for scale. The second is to go where merchants gather. Go on Reddit, Facebook forums, reviews in app stores. Understand what people are complaining about. Understand if you could make it better. Oftentimes, complaints are the seed of the best innovation. And finally, Shopify is constantly evolving and building new functionality. And that new functionality is brand new opportunities for us to build on and release exciting new tools. Thank you for coming today and for making e-commerce better for everyone.